What's in your cup?
A whole lot of everything, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody all around the world. Welcome to the best thing to ever happen to your entire life. This is the Kickback Show, thekickbackshow.com. I go by the name of Faz, and she is...
Gang. My shit is whatever. Brandy and with the plan, you say organic blackberry tastes like it sound like it tastes. You feel me? And she is...
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Tiana Giovanna, and he is...
DJ Swivel. Anything less would be unswivelized.
You goddamn right. All right, so we in this new year. Some people have their resolutions. I don't, because I'm a firm believer in just doing things as soon as I think about it. And as you see, I look and feel amazing. All right, so this year has started off with a gigantic bang. That's what she said. Because in the music world, we had the one and only Kool D. Some would consider a rap legend. And I agree. And he put out a report card that he did back in the 90s. And somehow he resurfaced, and a lot of people had a lot of different things to say. Sidebar, I think I would have to give credit to Jay-Z, because once he said nobody can, stand on stage with him, I think that sent the entire music world into a frenzy to try to find a match for Jay-Z. And the speculation is everybody from Drake to Lil Wayne to Kanye. I think that's a conversation for a whole nother day. With that, for me, I immediately saw this report card resurface, and it was truly ironic and liberating and kind of disgusting in certain moments. How we'll get into it. So for those that haven't seen it, it is a list of artists, and they are ranked based on several different categories. Those categories include vocabulary, articulation, creativity, originality, versatility, voice, records, stage presence, sticking to themes, and innovating rhythms. From that, it was added up, and then according to, grade school, everybody knows 90% to 100 is an A, 80 to 90 B, so on and so forth, right? And on this list, the short list that I have here, there's everything across the spectrum from an A+ all the way down to a C+. So, yeah, it's interesting.
I have to say this just off the bat.
Yep.
Because there was a thing of blatant disrespect that caught my attention when I immediately saw this list.
Okay.
Was the spelling of a West Coast legend's name, and that would be corrupt. The man spelled it, I guess, CORRUPT. Yeah, like just
corrupt.
I mean, come on, dude. Like, one, you've been in the game, Kool Modi, for, forever and a day. Like, you should know better. And then two, just, literally put some respect on my man's name. Like, come on.
But then that could also be that old head thing, because them old heads say wrench around instead of reach around. So this is
I don't know how to wrench shit off.
Yeah, he also spelled Buster,
right?
He said hip-hop 2/PAC.
Yeah, he also.
So I don't think he was necessarily going for correct spelling. He didn't care. I think it was one of those, like, if I can read it and I know what I'm talking about.
That's what it says. Look at what it says. It says that.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because it's also most deaf, not most deaf. So maybe these ain't even the rappers that we thinking of. Maybe he's living in a parallel universe.
I don't think it is.
Yeah, I think this is a front. So let's get into it. A lot of the artists that exist on this list is everybody from Jay-Z, DMX, Master P, Big Pun, Snoop, Nas, Corrupt, Lauryn Hill, Redman, Method Man, Keith Murray, Ice Cube, Too Short, Black Thought, Mos Def, Bust, Tretch from Naughty by Nature, Raekwon, Common, Razzcast, Biggie, Pac, Mace, Puffy, Cannabis, Buckshot, Foxy, Little Kim, Mac 10, Sticky Fingers, Mystical. There's also another list and everything, but I think we can rest assured that there's going to be a lot of drama within this list by itself. You hear me?
I just want to say that I so appreciate that he added women to the card, because I feel like, you know, women in hip hop get disrespected and, you know, kind of overlooked all the time. But not only did he include women, like Lauryn Hill got an A+, which I 100%
She
support.
actually got the highest score, I believe.
She got the highest score, yes.
Yeah.
But the only other person to get another A+ was Biggie, and that was 95. Now, let's just be honest. That's really an A. A+ is 100. But so I don't know what public school he went to.
The one where they spell corrupt, CORRUPT.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Because they were most deaf.
Yeah, because they were most definitely scoring him wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think also for context for those that are listening, watching, this clearly was at a very prominent time where, and we've talked about 90s hip hop before, where it really was a wide range of originality and artists. You know what I mean? And the thing is if this list existed, one, without the presence of women, it would have completely been felonious. Like, you would have to throw the whole list away, because there's no way that we could talk about 90s hip hop without mentioning the Little Kims, Foxy Browns, Lauryn Hills of the world. Like, so speaking of Lauryn Hill, highest score, 10s all across the board, except for 3 9s, which all came under the categories of records, which for me, it's kind of crazy, but I get it. Stage presence and sticking to themes, which I also think is very debatable.
Yeah. I mean, look at the Miseducation.
Yeah, like it's one main theme.
Like,
really.
it was very themed. So I'm gonna disagree with him.
I'm gonna disagree. Yeah, I'm gonna disagree with sticking to themes, which, I mean, you also think of like doo-wop, right? Like that theme stuck to the script. Very amazing record where it was like, look, I'm talking to men and women. Like, don't be a hard rock when you really are a gem. Like, you know,
but the theme like was consistent throughout Miseducation.
Absolutely.
So like, yeah.
I guess the argument can be made, according to records, is that she only had the one body of work, right, as a solo artist. But then also, do we incorporate? I feel as though that it's unfair not to incorporate the Fugees' material.
Right, well. You have to. You have to.
Yeah, but in the case of themes, you can't hold that against her, because, you know, when you're a part of a group, you know what I'm saying? Like, the theme of the Fugees album is gonna be different than, you know, just her album as a solo artist. You know what?
I feel like he just didn't want to give her 10s across the board. Honestly, I feel like he was just like, I can't give her all 10s. I have to give her something. I have to dock her somewhere. I feel like he was one of those.
Because, I have to agree with you 10,000%. Like, I would debate that Lauryn Hill is a perfect 100. Yeah. Because even when you know, arguing the records, she has the Grammys. Like, she literally swept the Grammys that year. And the Miseducation is a classic album. Front to back, no skips, like
start to finish.
Extremely solid. And you have everything. I mean, granted, she got a 10 in versatility. You have everything from the more somber, you know, heart-wrenching records to the more reflective records. You have the dance record. Like, it's literally complete.
Yep. I want to add in. I feel like. I mean, I know that the list is old, but I feel like, can we like do another column with impact, and then it's like that impact is it'll supersede their lowest score. Like, can we do something like, you know what I mean?
Which that's an amazing point, which is one of the things that I incorporate within all of it. I think that literally has to be the overall like arc when we talk about all of these categories, right?
Right.
And which again highlights each and every one of these artists, especially during the 90s, because every single one of them were original and all of them succeeded and made an impact on the culture. They made an impact on hip hop and music as a whole. You know what I mean? So yeah, Lauryn Hill.
There's a few names I don't really know so I'm like Impact.
Mm-hmm.
Impact is around 3 to 5.
Well, and not only like there's you know a few names on here that I know is like unfamiliar to a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, like a Buckshot, for example, or you know, for me, when I saw Sticky Fingers, I'm like, how? Or both Sticky Fingers and Tretch, I'm like, how did these guys make the list?
Because, friends, niggas is friends.
So it's, I mean, it's easy to say that, but and the thing is I'm not going to act like I'm fully, you know, aware of all of their records or anything. But starting off with Sticky Fingers, Onyx was one of those first groups that came along with like the Red Man, and I'm not trying to put them together, but in my mind, I put them along with that rock, rah-rah type. You know what I mean? For me, we wouldn't have like an MOP if it wasn't for Onyx.
I understand Onyx, but again, but even with Onyx, I could make the argument that they, even though they were a group that was, you know, fairly, did fairly well, was fairly successful, in reality, they were kind of like a one-hit wonder. Because like as far as the masses go, the masses only know one record off Onyx's album. Like, so, you know, I'm saying, like, to me, it just didn't seem like the group was successful enough to warrant, you know, one of their members making this list. Or, you know, Tretch, like from Naughty by Nature, like, you know, Naughty by Nature, I felt was more popular, more successful than Onyx. More commercial. But, you know, and I'll maybe save this for a little later. There's like several artists from some extremely successful groups that didn't even make this list that I would like to highlight at one point.
No, that goes back to Brandy's point of impact.
Right, exactly.
So,
Which I think is very important when, again, looking at Sticky Fingers, that rah-rah shit literally kind of carried over into modern day hip hop. Us sitting in 2022, it's like there's a lot of influence that I see that was birthed during that time. With Tretch, it's always tricky because we think of Naughty by Nature, Hip Hop Parade, right? But his rap style was so unique, so much so that Eminem gives him credit and puts him in his top 10,
right?
If I'm not mistaken, or like has verbally expressed how Tretch and his rhyme schemes and patterns and the way that he raps. You know, I don't know, one of his, like when Hip Hop Parade comes on or Jamboree, like all of them records, when they come on, I don't really know him like that. But it's like one of them things, the way that he was rapping, nobody else was rapping like that. It was a steady flow. Impact-wise, you fast forward to today, you look at the Baby, Lil Baby, all the babies, right? All the littles.
All the babies and the littles.
You think about Gunna, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of them, for me, I can almost kind of see similarities in this. I'm just rapping my ass off and going. And
that's his thing. Can you guys, I know we're a hip hop show, I feel like I should know these things, but if you could just give us a little, you know what I'm saying, a little prequel to like why you're saying what you're saying, because now I get it, like, oh, he's a rapping ass nigga, that's why you put the Baby and all them. So if you can, like, because I didn't know Tretch was a rapping ass nigga. I had no idea. I always thought he was fine. That's it.
Shoot your shot.
Hey, but yeah, no, he was definitely a rapping ass. He was a rapping ass dude.
I think we also need to consider context here and who put the list together, right?
Absolutely.
Because it is a biased look at this, and so he's gonna look at it much differently than like the average commercial listening. I only listen to the radio. I don't really get into hip hop or underground or like other hits person. So I think that, you know, considering the source goes a long way with this too.
And very good point to add back in the categories, right? So if we go to somebody like Tretch, a vocabulary, he got a 9, which if you go back and listen, and hopefully everybody listening again, do your research, go back and listen to these artists that are on these lists with this in mind. Articulation was a 9. To be a rapping ass dude and being able to like literally enunciate your words and be understood is unmatched. Yeah. The creativity, he also got a 9. When it comes to originality, 10 by far. Versatility, 9, because he was able to bounce back and forth through things. His voice, he got an 8, which I can understand, especially if we're comparing it to others on this list. If you compare him to Kumo D's era, where you have a KRS-One, right? Where you have like a Rakim, their voices really stood out over everything. Yeah. It's not necessarily taking anything away from Treach's voice, but in comparison to others on this list, he didn't have a voice like a Redman, a Busta, Jay-Z, Biggie, Nas, all of that, right? So I get it, but still a high. Records, 9. I mean, clearly we know some of the big bangers. Stage presence, he got a 9, and then another 10 on Sticking to Themes and Innovating Rhythms. So it's a very technical list that Kumo D, that was the scope that he was looking through. You know what I'm saying?
Can I just say that that this was a 90s list because Mace is even mentioned. And
Mace be the one had to take you home.
I take issue with the fact that Mace even really made this list.
No,
Mace
I mean
was that nigga back in the day.
But exactly, he had to he was one of the
because he was all over the radio.
Yeah, he was one of the guys, which is goes back to my point earlier.
He was only the it guy because of Puffy.
Mace's voice can actually put babies to sleep. like it's.
Yeah, I mean, the going to Brandy's point, impact and that sort of thing. Mace, he has to be on this list. I don't. Somebody, I found it strange. There's artists on here like Sticky Fingers or Mystical, to name a few that got ranked just as high or higher than Ice Cube. But when you're looking at from the perspective of impact, Cube had a way bigger impact.
Way bigger. Bigger.
Okay. Cube had a way bigger impact than a lot of these guys on this list. But when a friend pointed out to me that this report card kind of resurfaced, is again, look at who made it. Kumo D, your hit record, one of your hit records was Wild Wild West, and you didn't necessarily gel with West Coast artists.
Right.
We can see how West Coast artists didn't necessarily get the best ratings or shine. Yeah. With this report card.
But then so to be, I guess to kind of be the adversary, here, right?
What
because I love Q. However, if we do compare, let's say we compare him to a Mystical.
That's high.
Right? It's unfair. I feel like Cube has more records, but through the lens of,
I was saying, but that's not really a category. He says records, but I don't think he's grading the number of records. I think he's grading just
the quality of records, which I get. Yeah. And to be fair, I mean, Cube has 9 in records. Mystical has a 8. You know what I mean? So fair enough. Where Mystical ranked extremely high was creativity, which I give him. Originality, give him that. Innovating rhythms, I give him that. Yeah. And Cube is solid across the board. He has 9s in everything except innovating rhythms. He got a 7, right?
So I can agree with that.
I can agree with that as well.
What is that? Can you guys break that down? What is innovating rhythms for those of us who haven't?
Basically different rhyme patterns, the way that you're rhyming. You know what I mean? Yeah. Something that's different instead of the whole. So, for example, it would behoove us if rap never like transcended. If everybody still rapped like the Treacherous 3, you know what I mean, or Furious 5, right? If everybody, imagine you come out with a new record by Kendrick Lamar tomorrow, or Drake, and they come on the record, yeah, this is Drake and I'm rapping on the mic. We doing it and we doing it right. It's like, bro, what are we doing, right? So to innovate.
Didn't they just do that? They just did that. La-di-da-di-da, slow bomana, pass me. Like, they just did that.
But again, it's one of those things to where it's you can take it as like innovative, because it's like, I'm gonna take it and put a spin onto it, right? I'm gonna do something that has never been done before. One of the things to kind of shout out Bus, right, who has a 10 in this category, you look at what he was capable of doing over the course of, let's just say, the 90s, right? When you have a song like Put Your Hands Where My Eyes Can See, it was literally one flow or rhythm throughout the entire record, right? Then about the time of the yes, like literally the end of every word rhymed, right? But then he also had other records where he was coming out spitting fast paced. Like, he was able to take a rhythm and do something completely different.
I get
and
what
like
you're saying.
be masterful.
Yeah,
with it,
like,
you know.
Ice Cube is very like, this is my rhythm. I'm sticking to my rhythm. I'm not stepping outside of this. This is what it is. Versus like a Method Man who scored 10, which I completely agree with. He's like known to like flip his rhythm and change it up in the middle of a song and then like hop off and hop back on beat and that kind of a thing. So
absolutely. Method Man is probably one of the most flawless rappers when it comes to being in a pocket and just his flow. Like, his flow is impeccable.
That's dope. Sidebar, can we sidebar? Tiana has some really dope glasses on, guys. You just need to tell the world. Keep going.
Thank you. They were like $30 and they're prescription.
Girl.
That's pretty fun. That's fun.
Send me the link. I just got some prescriptions, and they're big as shit. But I want to give you some little ones like those.
Cute. Okay, since they're not sponsoring the Kickback show, I'll hit you up on offline and let you know where I got them.
But if you guys ever want some sponsorship, hit us up. But we'll do that later.
Yeah, for sure. They know who made them. They know.
Yeah.
They remember that day. They remember that.
So yeah, Q never rapped fast, right? Like, he just had one solid flow throughout the entirety of his career. Yeah. Somebody else. Is there anybody else that y'all question that should be on this list? Or question their score?
Okay, was Missy Elliott 2000s? I feel like she came out.
No, Missy was 90s. Yeah. She was 97.
I think it's odd that she's not on this list.
Yeah.
To be fair, you had the stronghold with Lil' Kim and Foxy. I agree. I don't see why Mace and Puffy are on this list and Missy isn't.
That's my thing.
But then also, to be fair, there is another side to this report card. I'm just going off of this one sheet. So if I'm not mistaken, she very well may be on the list. I just don't have it in front of me right now.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that like kind of stood out to me. Like, some artists that at least didn't make the list that is, I guess, the most popular, so to speak.
Because people can't be bothered to flip it over.
Yeah, right.
But,
right.
So after further research, Missy Elliott did not make the list. The other side of the list is primarily 80s. So it was literally Kumo D's era. So the Rakim, Beastie Boys, KRS-One, T. La Rock, so on and so forth. Grandmaster Caz, right?
Which to me, like, is another one of the things that immediately jumped out, which is rather troubling, is you got Cannabis on this list, but you don't have LL Cool J.
Okay.
No, he had LL Cool J. He had LL on the 80s. On the 80s side, on the other side. Now, to be fair, Missy during this time wasn't the Missy that we knew or know now.
Yeah,
right?
I feel like Missy, she exploded in like early 2000s.
Early 2000s when she took off. Like, Missy was dope because I remember watching the music videos going home, and I Can't Stand the Rain, Sock It to Me.
Yeah.
Then you had the Aaliyah records, you had the Timbaland stuff, you had Genuine.
What
Like,
stuff she did stuff with Tweet, she did stuff with
did
Sierra.
stuff with-
Like,
yeah.
I mean, there was a while there where she was on like everybody's stuff. And then she got lazy.
That's not the 90s? That wasn't the 90s?
Like
Well,
early
Sierra
2000s.
was 2000. The 90s Missy was she had a
Aaliyah,
collaboration with Lil' Kim. She had the Not Tonight record.
Yeah.
That was on that soundtrack with Martin Lawrence.
The 90s is when she was hungry.
She didn't have
90s.
Aaliyah in the 90s?
She had Aaliyah, but
Yes.
Like it wasn't like beginning Aaliyah?
But I don't think it was really known how much Missy was writing and like how much she was really behind a lot of those artists, like the Miss Jade, Lil Mo. Like there was a lot of artists that she was behind, but you didn't know that. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people didn't know that back then. Again, now we're kind of moving the goalposts because we see these artists as they are now with their careers fully developed.
Yeah,
but we're talking about like this list was developed, you know, clearly sometime probably early to late mid 90s, right? And done through the scope of a rapper looking through a technical lens of rapping.
Right.
If you're a technical rapper and you got a Cannabis on this list and Buckshot and you got Biggie at a high ranking, Jay-Z at a B, then you're not really considering Missy to be one of those types of artists, especially with Lil' Kim literally being the face of women in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? There was nobody touching Lil' Kim. Like we can debate Foxy, but Lil' Kim literally had a stronghold on the industry.
No, I agree. But you know what? I kind of feel like there's a duality in hip hop with women. Like either you're the Lil' Kim or you're the Missy Elliott. And
Erykah Badu.
Or you might be, that's what I was saying, or you might fit into like the Lauryn Hill, Erykah Badu. But those women tend to teeter on the edge of hip hop and soul. So sometimes people are like, you know, people can put them in either category.
So is Erykah Badu considered?
I think Erykah Badu is considered hip hop. But I feel like because she sings and she raps, right? But I feel like she got the leg up because like in the hip hop rap world, because she was with the Fugees first, right? Mm-hmm. And so they are very much solidified as a hip hop group specifically, even though she was singing with them too.
But she was rapping. I think she was rapping her ass off with that as well. You know
absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely.
Whereas not to take anything from Erykah, but
she's not rapping her ass off.
She's not rapping the way that Lauren was, so she wouldn't get categorized because it was more soul, R&B. I think, and then neo soul became a thing.
Yeah,
so
Okay.
So I'm not surprised to not see like someone like her on this list because that's not even that's an apples to oranges comparison for her.
Okay.
So that's why I say in the world of hip hop, like strict, like I'm rapping hip hop, you have your Foxy Browns and your Lil' Kims, and then you have your Missy Elliott's.
It wasn't no other chicks out?
No, I'm just saying those are the two categories. Either you are
but
like,
was there? I just want to know. Like, was there?
That's it. Like either you're like one of the guys or you're like one of the hood rats. Like there is nowhere else for women in hip hop to have fit at that time. Like those were that was the duality that you faced.
There were other female.
There were other female artists though.
You know, you had Lady of Rage. You had
But she was the Missy Elliott. Lady of Rage fit in with Missy Elliott.
You had the Brat, who was
like it was the Butch and the Femme. That's what it was. The Butch and the Femme.
The Butch and the Femme. Well, why is the Brat not on there? She wasn't popping back then?
She was, but again, it goes back to who put the list together.
Yeah.
It was Kumo D. You know what I'm saying? Like we are looking at it from the scope of not only being consumers and people that love these artists, but we're also looking at it as like we grew up with them. Kumo D didn't really grow up with this new age. So I mean, even having Jay-Z at a B is kind of crazy, but then it's like, what albums were Kumo D basing this off of?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this wasn't based off of Blueprint Jay-Z. This may have just been off of Reasonable Doubt and then Volume 1. Maybe even Volume 2. You know what I'm saying? So it gets kind of tricky. To answer your question, other women that were in there. I mean, we mentioned Lady of Rage. We had MC Light that was still making noise.
Yeah.
Early 90s, you had Queen Latifah, Only Love.
Yeah.
You had Mia X with No Limit.
Okay.
You had The Brat. The Brat was late mid 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Why is Queen Latifah not in that? Is she in the 80s one?
No.
But and that's what I'm saying. Like that was one of my points. Was he's got, so like I said.
Oh, he has a female one.
Butch. And like one of the dudes and one of the ones that the dudes can pass around. Like those were the two, like, if you can visualize it in your head, those were the only two categories that women could fit in hip hop. Lauryn Hill is the only one on this list that doesn't fit either one of those because she's feminine and she's beautiful, but she's not overly sexualized. Like she owned herself, right?
But then, but go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, like, none of the like down and dirty, like Queen Latifah. I'm just rapping. Like Missy Elliott, who was not sexualized. Queen Latifah was not sexualizing herself. The Brat kind of towed the line, but for the most part, she wasn't like overly sexualizing herself. Like she tried to put on a bikini in a video a couple of times, but it really didn't go over well. So it was like that kind of a thing. So none of those women, I just find it interesting that none of those women have made this list.
Well, and I feel
assumption.
I feel like it has to do with a little bit of like, you know, the artists, those two female artists, Foxy Brown, Lil' Kim, like their popularity, you know, so that, you know, anyone reading this report card like would be very strongly familiar with those two artists versus like, yeah, they might know like one or two Queen Latifah songs, but that's about it. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
but based off of that assumption as far
as
we
go to impact
goes, you know, that's why I found it interesting. An artist like Tretch made this list, or Sticky Fingers made this list. When you're missing Q-Tip and you're missing Fight Dog from A Tribe Called Quest, when you talk about vocabulary, originality, creativity, innovation, stage presence, records, overall impact, A Tribe Called Quest, smashing a lot of
overall impact isn't on here.
Huh?
Oh yeah, that was our thing.
Overall impact.
Yeah, no, but that's just what I'm saying. What we kind of added, but like all those categories combined, you know, we're in a sense is overall impact.
But even in the 90s, like
Keith Murray can't stack up to, you know, what freaking
a five.
What were you about to say, Fox?
To go back to Queen Latifah though, when again, and I'm being an adversary with this and looking at it more objectively. When I look at these categories, does she fit or rank high in any of these categories? When it comes to vocabulary, I give her articulation, creativity, I give her originality, can kind of be, you know what I'm saying? Like,
what you mean,
What?
You saying Queen ain't original?
What's original about what she did with her rapping?
I actually don't know a lot of Queen Latifah's music, so we gonna cut that part out. But I've been thinking about impact, like who she is to me and her originality. Like honestly, when I was younger and I seen Queen Latifah, like 'cause she was just a big presence and I was always a tall girl and shit, I just was like, man, like that power. Like I want to, like she moved, you could like. So I don't know.
Which is why I'm highlighting.
That's the originality part for me, because it's like, you know, there was no black women in there. Like I'm a black woman and I'm sitting right next to you. What's up?
But you had MC Light that was doing that. That was like, look, like I need a roughneck. Like this is what I want. Like I'm.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm a queen. I'm put on a pedestal. Like you've had female artists. Granted, I give the originality to Queen Latifah for her image, and again, that goes to impact, which is something that we are infusing and putting into this category.
Music. Okay.
Right, and the thing is her having an Afrocentric approach is dope, but then when it comes down to rapping, versatility,
that marketing is good, boy. That marketing is a motherfucker.
I'm saying, did she have a voice? I give her voice. Did she have the records? I mean, UNITY was a monster, but then what else do we have after that? Ladies first.
Ladies first.
I'm more surprised about
This nigga said ladies first. Why you gonna pick that one?
But I'm saying, but this is a part of the categories. Sorry, Tiana, but this is a part of the category. This is why I'm being objective about the list. We can debate about who should be on the list, but if we're sticking to what is put on here, this is what I'm judging it based off of. You put Queen Latifah next to a Lauryn Hill. Is she ranking high? We put Queen Latifah versus Little Kim. Is she ranking high? If we put Queen Latifah versus you see what I'm saying?
So
it's
is
like
Queen not a rapping ass? She not a rapping ass? She wasn't rapping her ass off and shit?
We give her flowers, but then when it comes to the technical sense of does she have a broad vocabulary? Was she sticking words together? Did she come up with any unique, original type of rhythms and flow? Did she have stage presence? And again, when you look at other artists on this list, it's kind of tough. Missy, yes, should have been on this list. Again, not on here probably because wasn't on the radar. We know Missy to be the juggernaut that she is now, but I think she really kind of came into her being in the 2000s, right? You match her versus looking at Missy on stage versus Queen Latifah, is there really a discussion? You know what I'm saying? So exactly. You talk about records, like we can go down the list on Lil' Kim records, her being on records with dudes and standing her own. You know what I'm saying? Like it gets deep. Foxy Brown had an album with Nas and AZ and Dr. Dre called The Firm. Like it's tricky. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I love these conversations because it gets deep.
And I love that I don't know a lot, so y'all gotta explain shit to me, and then it's like, okay, well, let's talk about it.
But it's also a matter of looking at like how you look at it, and again, this needs to be looked at from a very technical lens and perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like that's literally what this is, not based on a personal preference of what I like. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love DJ Quick is one of my favorite artists. He doesn't rap like Busta Rhymes or Redman, no. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't take anything away from his impact. Doesn't take anything away from his artistry. And he's still ranked very high amongst artistry. However, when we're looking at it from a technical stance, there's a lot of rappers that don't measure up to this. I mean, damn, Jay-Z got a B.
Right, but to that point, DJ Quick outranks Puffy.
Very much so.
DJ Quick,
especially in the 90s.
DJ Quick can maybe hang with a Matt Tang or Keith Murray.
Yeah, for real.
I would put him
Keith
over.
Murray? I didn't know he was a real rapper. I thought you just made that name up. Who is
Keith
that?
Murray be rapping though.
Yeah, but who is that? Can you give me a song? Who?
She's the most beautifulest thing in the world. It's just like that. He was on the this is 2000s, but he was on the Fatty Girl remix or Fatty Girl like original. She got a badunk. He's the one that coined the phrase badunkadunk.
Really?
Literally said it in a record. She got a badunkadunk. Like,
you want to talk about impact?
I'm saying.
Okay.
Snoop said bootylicious in 92, 91, 92.
Yeah, and then Destiny's Child made a whole song about it.
A whole career off of it.
They sure
They
did.
got it put in the dictionary. You know what I'm saying? So Keith Murray, I mean, although may not necessarily be popular, he's in the same vein as a Redman. They're part of, like, I want to say he was one of the members of the Def Squad.
Yeah.
Redman, Keith Murray, Eric Sermon. I don't know if Icarus was in there, but those are like the main.
Just those three.
Those three. So yeah, Keith Murray is one of them guys. When we're talking about technically rapping, you know.
But yeah, I mean, you know, I feel like DJ Quick could hang with a Big Pun or a Master P, you know, when you're looking at all these different categories. You know, I mean, Master P has done a lot for hip hop and other artists, and you know,
Master P, I'll give you that. I'll give you Master P. Pun rapping though, Pun is a little bit more tricky, but you're right, because I mean, Pun only got a B,
Yeah, and that's
You know.
it's.
I just think it's funny to consider that Pun and Jay-Z got the same score.
That's crazy.
I know. That was definitely early J.
Again, that like kind of has to make you shift your perspective and remember this was done from a specific person's perspective at a very specific time.
Yeah.
So, and not only that, like you also have to consider these conversations, art in and of itself is subjective.
Absolutely.
No two people are ever going to look at a list like this and rank things the exact same way.
Yeah.
Based on, we can agree. And in some situations, we're just going to have to agree to disagree. But like, we can show this report card to anybody and someone is always going to have something different about why wasn't this person there? Well, this person shouldn't have been on this list. It should have been like, it's always going to be up for debate.
The way
Absolutely.
Kumo feels about Mace being on the list, is Master P on the list? That's how I feel. He's on the list?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we agree with that.
I don't mind seeing P on the list. I mean, he has
Okay.
a C plus. He has a C plus, but it was like, again, if we think about, if this was based on who was the top personalities in rap and hip hop during the 90s, this list is literally, it encompasses everybody that had records, had a presence, was charting, touring, where they were the people. You know what I mean? Like they were the names that you would mention that had rank. Again, it's kind of crazy because I feel like there are other artists, but that's just us. Like Quick is still kind of considered only a regional artist in comparison to somebody else on this list. Like, and it's, again, what Jay-Z records did you really consider when you made this? Because he got a 7 in vocabulary, 9 in articulation, 9 in creativity, originality, 8. Stage presence, he got a 6, which is absolutely correct.
I thought you was gonna say something else. That nigga's terrible on stage.
On stage, he's no.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was talking with a friend of mine about the whole stage presence for Jay-Z thing, and even though like he doesn't have stage presence the way we might look at a Busta Rhymes, or I thought it's crazy how like a dude that has no real stage presence at the same time also has massive stage presence, because he could be on stage and this is all he's doing, but like arenas full of people are just freaking captivated with the man. Now granted, at the time of this list creation, you weren't having arenas filled with Jay-Z fanatics like loving, hanging on every single word he was saying, but like, to be able to go from stage left to stage right, and this is all you doing, in, back out.
I think that's more crowd control.
And a fire ass song. That's
that?
just a fire ass song. Your stage presence can still be trash. I went to a Rihanna concert, fire ass music, fire ass song. She was looking like she was half asleep doing this shit. I'm like, I'll never drop like what? Like that's disrespectful.
I will never go to another
I went to the Kanye West one where he was up in the air, dope. I feel like we gotta appreciate him for his like real artistry part, right? But as far as the stage presence, he was the hour late and left on time. You feel me? Which is crazy. And then like, he really wasn't really, it just was kind of like I'm walking around doing my own thing. So it's like, it's really, to me, I feel like that's more so the music and maybe the fantasy people have created in their brain of who you are to them and all that. As far as you delivering a presence and making me feel like I want to come back, I don't feel like that he has that. Nobody want to say?
No, I agree with you.
I agree. Yeah, there's nothing.
I agree.
Oh,
I'm right there.
I agree.
With you.
I was like, damn, did I just stop? I'm not allowed to say this about
No.
Jay-Z. Okay, we gotta get canceled, nigga.
Which the people with the lowest rankings and stage presence on here, Jay-Z has the lowest with the 6. Then you have Mace with the 7. You have Master P with the 7. Everyone else is 8, 9, for the exception of DMX, Busta Rhymes, who both have 10. And a lot of that is again, I know Busta brings some of the theatrics, but even when Busta's sitting still, his stage presence is crazy. And Swiv and I know this because we've opened up for Bus, right? Yeah. Bus and Split Star as a duo is one of the most dangerous things on stage. You never want to like come after Bus and Split Star. Yeah. Ever. Trust me. And I take pride in what I'm doing. And I was honored to be a part of like opening up for Bus, but like never coming after him because they literally would do the theatrics that they would do is like Bus would be in the middle of rapping one of his verses and he would just stand there, but then he would decrease his tone and almost get down to a whisper. Hit you with no delay, so what you saying, yo? Silly with my 9 milli with the dilly, yo. Yeah. So it isn't really as much of this as much as it is I'm bringing you on stage with me, right. And I'm drawing you in with every little thing because even something like that, it's making you pay attention to what he's doing, right? Whereas crowd control, which I feel Swiv is talking about, that can be done. I could be the worst stage presence artist on the planet, but if I have a hit record, it doesn't matter because everybody came to see me do this hit record, so I don't even have to rap it. I could literally just let the audience do their thing, and I could just stand there and.
Honestly, Jay.
H-I-J-K-L-M-L-B. I paid $50. You rap.
Honestly, no, for real. I think that, and even with Jay being the GOAT that he is now, it's like he still be forgetting his shit, like still. So it's just like you gotta just be like, this is what Jay does, y'all. He ain't gonna forget that verse. He ain't the, you know what I'm saying? It is what
I'm willing to forgive that though. I'm willing to forgive that because that's a lot of, you got a lot of material. There's a lot of stuff that you got to consider with that. I understand what you're saying, but I forgive things like that. It really boils down to you just walking around on stage rapping. It's like, what am I coming to see?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not trying to, hold him to the fire. Like, you don't remember all your but if you don't got good, you're not good at like niggas that can't dance. They choose a couple of steps. That's all they got. If you don't have if you're not a stage present person, like, I mean, you fill up the quota over here or over here? Like shit. You know what I'm saying? That's all we got. Yeah, that's all they got.
No, I think the worst concert that I went to. Okay, 1 second. The worst concert I went to was when and Rihanna toured together. Mm-hmm. And was great, but Rihanna got on the stage and she just phoned it in. I was like, I will never go and actually pay any kind of money to see this woman on stage. She twerked and then like
she did some knee claps.
It was minimal twerking. I know.
She did some knee claps.
Yeah,
like she did some.
She did like a couple of meat claps. Not even like really like she didn't really even get into it. She did a couple of meat claps.
Oh no, like, I'm saying
look at my booty,
claps.
And then
she did knee claps. Like her knees were clapping.
Oh, that's funny. No, she danced a little jig. That was it. Okay. And then like the crowd sang her lyrics. Like that's what it was.
I think I went to the same one that you went to, except for mine was A$AP Rocky. It was A$AP Rocky.
A$AP wasn't there. Then, I don't remember A$AP being there. This was years ago. Because like and Rihanna had so many collabs, they actually toured together.
Oh, okay.
And so she did some of her stuff, they did their stuff together, and he did some of his solo stuff.
I think it was right off after the first time Jay-Z and Beyonce did a whole
okay.
Like because Jay and Beyonce kind of set the stage for two artists like that to have like sell out stadiums, and then Eminem and Rihanna were like, well, we could do the same thing.
Exactly. So. Yeah. And then best stage presence I think I had seen was when we went to Janelle Monáe. She was like, you want to talk about the perfect like combination of stage presence and crowd control. I have never seen anyone do some of the stuff that she did on stage. She's and like
female James Brown.
Oh my gosh. And they like she was just like, if you ever have a chance to go to a Janelle Monáe concert, I don't care if you don't know any of her songs.
Right.
Just go.
Right.
Because
Hey,
her like performance, stage presence, crowd control, catalog, like she's amazing on stage.
I am gonna have to tap in. I'm gonna tap in if we're giving suggestions here. Fantasia. I know, because I was invited and I was like, I mean, I'll go with you, but boy, oh boy, okay, that thing right there, yeah, that thing was lit, okay, that thing was lit. She did church in there. It was great. She kicked the shoes off. It was wonderful. In between,
I don't know
but that's how
music.
you know it. You know when you get you feeling it to where you start speaking something and it's like it's off of what you're saying and shit, where it's like, you know, this AirPods in my ear, something's telling me that we gotta start listening. It's like, okay, you are filled right now. Look at how he ain't fucking with it. He ain't fucking with it. I had a really good time, John.
I'm glad for you. That's
Paz is over here. Hate.
No, it's because
there's no hate. It's just not for me.
But do you watch Power? Can you watch Power at least? You watch Power Book?
No.
Can you at least? You can't even graduate. You can't see the acting either, because it's great acting.
From who?
From your favorite artist.
I know that's a lie. I know
it's great
for a fact
acting.
that's a lie.
It's great acting.
It's good writing.
Okay.
Shout out to Toya Tonadeo, who is in Power, who we had on the show years ago.
Yeah.
And her now fiance, Arlen Escarpeta, who, what is he on right now? He's on, what's the crime show he's on? I can't think of it. I'm sorry, Arlen.
Yeah, my apologies too, because I just saw him post about it too.
I know. I'm bad. My bad. But yeah. Mary J. choking people on Power.
She is doing the damn thing. Okay, she is doing the damn thing. I personally think she's doing this shit in real life also.
I'm willing to bet Mary J. Blige's acting is about as good as her dancing.
It's better, but you know what it is? It's as good as that like shoulder thing she be doing. It's that good. Because she got that shit down. whatever that is, she got that shit down. Look at his eyebrow. What are you? Oh, okay. Okay.
Not gonna pay this bill. Is this bill paid?
Yeah, no, tax return stuff, you know.
My mama said if I ain't got nothing nice to say, pay your tax.
MasterCard. You ain't got nothing nice to say, just check your mail, you know?
Hey, we gotta, hey, do the thing. Do the fucking thing. Because we about to make a shirt like that. You ain't got nothing nice to say, check your mail.
The ideas and the viewpoints that are expressed here on the Kickback show that subsidiaries and parent companies are sole propriety and should not be duplicated or distributed without written or verbal consent.
Yeah, there you go.
Copyright 2022.
Are we just gonna make a shirt of Foz checking his mail, bro?
We got shooters too.
You got nothing nice to say, check your mail.
Yeah, we should. And it should, with the robe though, the robe has to be, you gotta have the robe on also. We're gonna do that.
There you go.
Well, I think we pretty much covered this list.
We did.
Yeah, I mean, it could definitely get deeper. It can become way more analytical. However, let us know what y'all think. What are your ideas? I think Snoop could have had a higher ranking. He's ranked higher than Jay-Z, which is crazy.
What? I'm almost like cuss you out right now.
Considering the time,
it makes sense. He had a broader catalog.
Which, I mean, but only by a slight margin. He's only 5 points over. He got a B+, which vocabulary, he got a 7. Okay, I guess I'll let that slide. Articulation 8, creativity 9. I think that should be a 10. Originality 10, versatility 9, voice 9, records 9. I feel as though
his voice is a 10. His voice is 10, and that other thing that was a 7 should be an 8.
The vocabulary?
No, there was something.
Vocabulary
is that what it was?
7. Vocabulary is only 7. The records, he should have a 10. If Jay-Z has a 10 in the 90s, Snoop should have a 10. Because Snoop doesn't have a Ain't No Fun. He ain't got no gin and juice. Like, he had big records, but he didn't have Snoop level records, if that's what we judging it on, right? Stage presence, Snoop has a 8. I give him that. 9, sticking to themes. I could probably give him a 10 on that, because Snoop,
Yeah, for sure.
one of the best storytellers.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and to
Yeah.
Brandy's point about vocabulary, you know, artists like Snoop and E40, you know, coming up with, you know, words that end in shizzle or whatever.
Fashizi, Manizi.
Yeah, like, you know,
Yeah.
because that's, and part of that may be kind of thrown under originality, maybe, or whatever. But I mean, again, because they're,
Vocabulary.
you know, like you said to Foz earlier, like bootylicious, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's now in the dictionary.
Yeah, absolutely.
So your vocabulary should be,
Yeah.
although nobody saw bootylicious being added to the dictionary when this list was
Man.
made. But
Snoop should get, I don't know. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm maybe I'm biased as fuck. I'm biased as fuck. I said it. He should have all
No,
things.
I feel like
Where
he
I'm at.
should
That's what-
definitely have a 90. He should definitely have a 90. If we talking about the 90s, Snoop should have a 90.
Yeah.
By far. By
The
far.
whole doggy style in itself, like that was a
saying.
whole experience. You weren't listening to music, you were following a story. You couldn't
Yeah.
listen to it out of order. You could listen to it out of order. It was way better in order.
Yeah,
And the thing
articulation.
is-
He only got an 8. I've never misunderstood anything Snoop has ever said in my life.
That part.
Yeah.
Like, you hear
Straight up.
everything.
Straight up.
And the thing
Like
is,
this.
Brandy, you bring up doggy style, like, not to mention this is the 90s. So Snoop in the 90s gave us doggy style, Dogfather. Then he gave us
Yeah.
the whole No Limit, like all the No Limit records, which
Yeah.
granted,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say every single one of them, but No Limit Top Dog is a classic, crazy.
Mm.
Last Meal was crazy. He gave us some incredible records. So like
Yeah, he was.
this,
Yeah,
this
sticking
is
to themes, he should have got a 10 right then
I'm
and there.
saying,
Because that
sticking to
nigga has
themes.
the same theme his entire career.
Until he switched to Snoop Lion for a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
but even then, but here's the thing.
But even then, it was still, yeah.
it was still
He's
him
about
sticking
smoking
to
weed.
the theme of his records.
You're
Like
right.
if you,
Yeah.
you think of, let's go through Doggy Style, right? Murder Was a Case, stuck to the
Weed.
theme.
Weed.
Lottie Dottie, he told a
Weed.
story. Ain't No Fun. We know
Weed.
what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? Hustles and Deeds. you
No,
know,
it's
like
true. And even I watched a documentary with Snoop, and he did his Rastafari, like he did that transformation. He went out there and sat with like some of the elders, and like he really committed himself, because they was like, we're not gonna do this if this is just a fad. So he really had to convince
But-
them that this wasn't going to be a fad.
But what's the underlying theme of all of that?
weed.
It
Weed.
is weed. It is weed. No, you funny. You said it funny, but you're right. Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
right.
I mean, he should got a
Yeah.
10 across
Weed.
the board. And even in the 90s.
She was like,
Like
weed.
he has the same
Weed.
theme from like 1987 to today.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Very true.
Yeah. So he should have got a 90. I agree.
Ain't no Snoop OG out. Snoop don't got no
Innovate,
weed?
yeah. Well, not
Yeah, no,
not
yeah, he
innovate
does.
Rhythms.
Oh, okay.
You got to go to. It's just not in California. You got to go to like Colorado to get Leaves by Snoop, and I don't know if he has any flowers, but his edibles will send you to a whole nother galaxy. I've been there.
Why is there no weed by Snoop in California? That doesn't even.
Like California's
Politics.
California's
okay.
weed laws are still like a lot more strict than somewhere like a Colorado. Colorado, you
Okay.
have to remember, they legalized weed
First.
well before
Yeah.
California did. So California is still ironing a lot of that stuff out. So I mean, I'm
Okay.
sure he's gonna bring it out here if it's not already out here in some like pockets already. But
Okay.
it's they're still getting it together.
I'm gonna check
Okay.
my weed maps and
Respect.
see if he is out here.
Okay.
So, yeah.
He didn't say that word because they're not sponsoring us. No, I'm just kidding.
You're right.
I'm just kidding. We're going to stop
You say
wearing
weed
shit,
maps
talking
and weed
shit.
apps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that part. Well, look, you know what I'm really excited about? I know that this conversation is literally a 12-hour conversation just to get through a few artists. When it comes down to it, like it's a never-ending debate about who should be on the list. I think the beautiful thing is that it can only grow and transcend from here, because then it's like, well, what artists do you put on any list, you know what I mean, in any era, you know. The exciting thing about it is that it is subjective, but it offers an opportunity for us to enlighten one another on why an artist is the artist and why they deserve the flowers that they receive, because it's beyond just the image that we're given as a consumer. You know what I mean? You can say whatever you want about Kanye and his political views and his personal life and all of that. You can't take shit away from his music, period.
No, not a thing.
Like, you can't take anything away from what he's contributed to the game. You know what I mean?
And I think it also is going to hold artists. I think that this should not just be something we get excited about, we talk about and forget about. I think that it should, you know, be injected into the culture so that artists can remember that they have more than just, I like this, so I'm gonna do it. It's like, well, you know, there's a standard. Like, I'm not saying that artistry should have some sort of, you should be able to do whatever you want, but it's like, there are some people that take this shit very seriously. You know, so if you want to choose to match and meet the bars, then cool. If not, then don't trip when niggas start talking shit about you and their jokes and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, for me, I think they call it the golden era for a reason.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. To your point, Brandy, like I agree. I don't think, you know, and every artist, as we fast forward to today's age, they don't need to be a rapping ass rapper. You know what I mean? Like I love 2 Chainz, you know what I mean? Because as articulate as he is, he's very ignorant. She got a big booty, so I call her big booty.
Right. No,
straight to the point, doesn't really take too much thought. Like, I don't expect him to be a red man, but if we are judging based on, like, again, these categories, I would still rank 2 Chainz high according to what he brings to the game. You know what I mean?
But that's what I'm saying.
Vocabulary, like,
he should get that, but like a 6ix9ine should not. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like
we don't talk about him here. He
I
doesn't go
feel
to school.
you, right?
Yeah.
I feel you, but that's why I'm like, you know, there are others. There are more than just him in this, you know, in this game, and I just feel like, you know, the low hanging fruit, y'all can, you know, there's a lane, there's an avenue for everybody. I just feel like, you know, what are you doing? When you put this project out, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? Like, what is your intention? And I just feel like, you know, hopefully that this list kind of sparked artists to remember their intention. Even if your intention is just to make niggas go have lean and whatever it is that they do in those songs. If that's your intention, whatever, but it's like, just stand on it. Stand on it. Yep.
By no means do we condone any drug use.
No.
Especially
None at all.
minors.
None at all.
However, raise your kids. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you. Anything else? Any other viewpoint? Anything else?
We're back with an in-person interview real soon. We got Justin Sky and a whole bunch of other artists lined up. So stay tuned for that.
On the one sound, is it on the one sound at gmail.com? And it's the number 1, right?
Yep.
On the number, and it's number 1. All right, we just got to keep plugging them. You feel me? Because that's a nice ass space, man.
Man, shout out to Professor H. Definitely.
Yeah.
If you're in Los Angeles, you need a spot to record, please reach out to On the One Sounds, Professor H, all that good stuff and things, man. You know what I'm saying? As usual, we are the Kickback Show, thekickbackshow.com, at the Kickback Show on all your social media devices. I go by the name of Fives. You can find me at Wavecap Johnny on everything, and she is
West Side, nigga. You can find me at the Kickback Show, and she is
We're ready for that, huh?
No, Tiana Giovanna across the board on everything, and he is
DJ Swivel on Twitter, Swivel on Instagram, SWIVLL. Fosfell all the way out.
I know.
Yo, these is real tears, though. West Side, nigga. Why'd you go so hard?
I don't know, man. I'm trying to find some new shit, man.
Yo.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Shameless plug.
I just heard it in Tupac's. I heard it in Tupac's voice. What's that record that he got with Trick Daddy? To be right, West Side.
Still balling.
I'll take it. West Side. West Side. That's one of my favorite fucking songs too.
Yo, hey. That's yeah.
What
I have
is
a new
that?
journal.
Talk about it.
This one is the 60-day Dream Life Manifestation Planner. So look, it's the new year. I don't make resolutions, but y'all should. But it's pretty. Look, it's pretty on the inside. We got quotes. You get to plan. You get accountability trackers. Where are you at in your life? And then you get to plan. What is your day looking like? So this is just a planner to help you reach your goals and manifest your dream life. Hence the name, Dream Life Manifestation Planner. It's 60 days.
Wow, I need to buy that.
It's color. It's really nice. It's on Amazon. If you go to Amazon and you just type in my name, Tiana Giovanni, you can find it. And then, of course, if for the new year you're planning on meditating, bam, I got the daily meditation planner and mindfulness journal. So yeah, that's what we're doing. Again, it's all in color and the pages are pretty. See, where are you at in your frequency for the day? Where are you operating? Like, yep, see, all of that. Beautiful. Bam. And then if you just want something very, very simple and you just want to start writing out your daily intentions and your gratitudes, bam. There's that one. Daily intention, gratitude. This one is the most simple of all of them. This is just like lined with writing prompts, black and white, but it gives you a chance, like it's kind of like your baby step into journaling.
Right. And I could jump in because Tiana is the shit, and
I appreciate it.
I get all fumbled up when I be trying to speak my truth and shit. I don't know what that's about, but I got the first book, and this one. Yeah, that one, and because go ahead, let's talk about that one. Go ahead, that's what it is. Like read that book, literally stopped me from crying, and read that shit in a day. And then when the journals came out, started with the journaling, but then the second one, it's almost like if you are interested in discovering yourself, I would say to go one by one with her journals, because the first one is kind of gives you a free space, the second one is a little more intention, and now we're gonna see what this third one is hitting for.
See, yeah. So and I want to be very, very specific and and there's no question about it. These journals are for Black women.
Yeah. And
these journals are for women of color. And that's what it's about, because, you know, we don't have a lot of support and we are not given the space to be vulnerable. You know, we are the strong Black women, that trope, and we need to shed that trope, because it's not always a good thing to have to be strong, because, you know, if you've got an elephant and you've got a bunny and you see the elephant carrying some heavy shit, no one's ever going to step in to help that elephant. They'll help the cute little bunny, be like, oh, let me take that for you. Oh, you want me to pick you up? Let me carry you. Right. Sometimes I want to be a bunny. Okay.
Right.
I don't always need to be the elephant. And
although a bunny bunnies are a little like, I think they're a little like taller than you, they have a little more mass to them. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I feel you though. Keep going.
They got the same fluffy tail.
Yeah, the tail definitely, I see that part. That definitely matches.
I'm done.
Foz is in the void, staying out of it.
I knew the mail.
I haven't had no small jokes in a minute, man. She's not growing. I've got to get these off. I'm not. I'm definitely the body is growing still.
Yes, the baby is still growing. Yes.
The baby is still growing. She's about to pass Tiana. That's where I was like, we gotta, anyhow.
If I was, you gotta make sure.
Don't look so, like, don't look like you really doing something.
You gotta make sure that when you transfer your balance from one credit card to the new one you just got, like, make sure that it's 0% interest, at least 12 months minimum. Like, don't settle for like these 3 month or 6 month 0. Like, it's got to be 12 months minimum.
And then call
a
your
good
current
point.
credit cards to make sure that you can get a balance increase without them pulling a hard credit report, so that you can decrease your. Oh, there you go. That's not a credit card. It's important that they know that.
You can't tear it.
You can't tear.
Can't tell you. It's actually, I thought it was gonna be paper. It's plastic.
It's plastic as
I gotta
fuck.
bend it.
My nigga, no, but what's funny is that he tried to flip it like it wasn't the same picture. He tried to flip it. Let me rip it
No,
over
I was
here.
trying to like loosen it up on the corners. So then when you start bending it,
Yeah.
then it'll tear.
Oh,
Yeah.
you mean the corner in the middle of the card? Okay.
Right, because it's the
Where you-
corner in the middle. Yeah.
Because I'm creating a new crease. Don't judge me because y'all love Mary J. Blige. I'm not the one on trial here. I'm minding my business. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Shameless plug over.
Get that. No, shameless plug. Get that shit. If y'all ready to take your life to the next level, for real.
Oh, look, he got it. Hercules.
You did that shit. Wait, was it you or was it the road? I just want to know.
It's all of the above. It's all of the above. It's the power that is Wave Cap Johnny. Okay.
Where did the cigar come
You
from?
better ask somebody.
You better ask somebody.
You better ask
Don't worry about
somebody.
where the cigar came from or why it's not.
Why?
lit.
Wait.
It's-
Why?
It just always
Why are
exists.
you giving you're giving my best friend's uncle trying to hit on me vibes right now? Like my.
Ask you. He about to ask her, so what size jeans you wear?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a good size right there.
And then he's gonna, and then he's gonna stroke his chest hair a little bit. Yeah.
Come here.
You know I got that. You know I got that gene plug, right?
Playing In No Jeans by Genuine in the background.
Yep. Here, turn around. Let me see. What size are you? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I might have some. You want to try to let me help you up. Let me help you. Like, damn, you did that full. He got a full manuscript, like a fucking monologue, just for an ass grab. Like, they doing that for free at the club now.
Yeah. I mean, I can't say that that's all he got out of it. He may have been like, he may have had a stockpile of jeans in his apartment and be like, hey.
You right. Because he thought what happened is,
jeans?
oh my God. Just leave yours there and take those with you. He probably has a stack of jeans from all the women he catch.
That's what I'm saying. You know,
and then what he does is he switches about. When the bitches
go down to
come,
the fashion district,
other bitches shit.
Go,
oh, man.
Yep, see? Ooh, these perfect. Yeah, these coming out in spring of 79. You can have them now.
Yeah,
early.
I just want to take a moment to disassociate Wave Cap Johnny from everything that just happened.
Yeah, no, that had nothing to do with Wave Cap Johnny. That had nothing to do with Wave Cap Johnny.
Wave Cap Johnny doesn't.
We do not condone meeting and grabbing on asses under false pretenses.
I don't grab.
I said that Wave Cap Johnny. I don't know yet, but my idea, like the way I look at Wave Cap Johnny, I feel like he's the guy that has a girl. He has like a very deep committed relationship, but he chose her. But he's still the real nigga macking his set. So if he didn't have old girl, he would fuck you like straight up right here, right now. But because he chose old girl, he just gonna look at you like that and he gonna say those things that he says. And that's as far as it goes.
Wave Cap Johnny is gonna empower a woman to love herself. He doesn't need to grab butts. He's gonna talk her into grabbing her own butt and appreciate it.
Hey, I gotta go. So
right.
She's doing that, and now okay. I love it. I love it. That was the shit. He said, "I'm not gonna grab butts. I'm gonna talk her into grabbing her own butt." If that ain't some player shit, that's fucking player as fuck. They're married, so that's why they're acting like that because they don't grab butts anymore.
I grab his butt all the time.
I'm gonna go
all
eat.
the time. It's amazing.
I'm gonna go eat.
I'm gonna go look for a butt to grab. I'm gonna go look for a butt to grab. Like y'all, you're eating. They're passing mail. I'm gonna go find a butt.
Yep.
And I guess this is it.
I'm a wholehearted advocate of butt grabbing as long as it's consensual.
Exactly, and as long as it is a man and a woman, and then the woman is like, "I'm good with all that if it's opposite sex."
Yeah, I mean, listen, as long as you are two consenting adults, I don't care who's. Did you just take a drink out of the sippy cup?
He did. He did. He did. He did. He did. He ain't saying shit. That means I ain't saying shit. Okay.
I'm done.
I think we've
We've
I think we have
incriminated ourselves
disrespected
far
enough
Yeah.
people. Yeah. This was a big show. This is a big show. It's gonna be a lot of bleep.
No wrestling.
As I sip on my cup that I sure somebody spit in.
Oh my God.
Hate. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, have a magnificent day, night, week, hour, minute, be in a moment. We thank you for spending this time with us. And yeah, we love you. And just understand that you could do any and everything that you put your mind to, except things that Mary J. Blige does, because it's never that good. So take that along with you. Be well. We love you. And until next time, this is the Kickback Show. West Side.
You ain't shit, nigga.